What up, everyone? It's the DCEU podcast, man. And today, in this podcast, I am going to be discussing the possibilities of having every live action portrayal of Superman make a cameo in the DC Extended Universe. Lately, I've read that the DC Extended Universe is trying to have all the past Batman actors appear in the DC Extended Universe. Just like how we will see Michael Keaton's 1989 Batman in the DC Extended Universe, they want to have Christian Bale and Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson all appear in the same movie at the same time. But before I get into it, let me just say today is National Podcast Day, so, big shout out to all you podcast fans out there. So a big shout out to all you podcast fans out there. And I wanted to let everyone know that in the upcoming Black Adam movie, the casting for Hawkman has finally been announced. The actor chosen to portray Hawkman is Aldous Hodge. He has been starred in many movies before. One of them was in Straight Outta Compton. He was MC Ren. And he did a rock solid performance. So, yeah, me and a lot of other DC fans out there are probably having high expectations for him. But casting can go either way. I mean, if we look at some of the castings in the past, like, say, George Clooney, when he was cast as Batman and Batman and Robin, people probably had high expectations, but then when the movie came out, they saw he was a terrible Batman. And now back to the topic, to having every past live-action Superman actor appear in the DC Extended Universe. Now, I believe that we should see every past version of Superman, except for the original movie Superman, on account that Christopher Reeves has passed away, unless they have an actor who can look like him or do like they did in Rogue One with Admiral Tarkin and Princess Leia and just CGI a person's face to look like him, but still, it'd be interesting to see how all these past versions of Superman can work well with one another, and maybe have like Nicolas Cage and Michael B. Jordan, two actors that were supposed to play Superman at one point, but were denied the chance because of certain situations. Oh yeah, it'd be a nice nod to like how they're supposed to be the Man of Steel. But of course, there's not as many Superman movies as there are Batman, but we still get the man who portrayed Superman in Superman Returns, Brandon Routh, and maybe to fill in the gap with the lack of Superman movies, we could possibly bring in like a bunch of Superman actors from the TV shows like Smallville or Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, and even the current Superman actors in the CW's Arrowverse, which would help to have that be part of the multiverse that the Extended Universe is trying to explore, since they did that in their Crisis of Infinite Earth special with the Flash. Ezra Miller's Flash met with the CW's Flash. Or one interesting aspect is that maybe they can have like a story arc during the multiverse traveling where they go into like the DC animated universe or like any of the other past animated DC shows or movies. So yeah, we see like animated versions of Ben Affleck's Batman or Robert Pattinson's Batman, depending on how it goes with Batfleck, and see an animated version of Henry Cavill's Superman, the current Wonder Woman, Ezra Miller's Flash, Ray Fisher's Cyborg, Jason Momoa's Aquaman. So kind of like what in the Lego Movie 2 sort of did, because their Justice League was the movie versions of them portrayed as them, except for Ben Affleck as Batman. I mean, it'd be your cliche multiverse jump story. In fact, for a more comedic purpose, it could just be like in Monsters Inc. when they're going from door to door in the big chase sequence, but it'd be going through multiverse like we've seen in other multiverse movies, or kind of like how we saw in game, how they went from different times, even though they had one specific mission. Or if they can get like all the past actors from TV, specifically the animated ones, like in Superman the animated series, they could at least reference them, make some kind of like cameo when they're looking at all the different universes, or have some kind of Easter egg to them, like say in Superman the animated series, there is a villain called Luminous who is exclusive to the show. He does not appear in any of the comics. So have like some kind of nod to him, like say have the guy's alter ego appear in the movies, or have some kind of sign or something that says Luminous Lights as a nod to him. But also at the same time, we can have like all the Supermans in all the comics, like the Red Sun Superman, where instead of landing in America, he lands in Soviet Russia during the time of the Cold War. It'll especially be really awesome to see all those different versions of both Batman and Superman meet each other. See whether or not there will be any hostilities towards them, or like some kind of mistrust towards one another, or maybe have like some form of understanding, because DCEU Batman and Superman were on negative terms in the movie Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice, but it doesn't mean that every version of Batman and Superman will be like that if they met each other in the multiverse. But in other news regarding the DC Extended Universe, is that they're extending all their world even further with some more TV shows. James Gunn himself, who is directing and working on The Suicide Squad, is going to have a TV spin-off for Peacemaker, one of the new members. It's a sort of a prequel before, so we see like his origin and like right before he gets inducted into the Suicide Squad. So yeah, and there's also been talk for Zatanna and Constantine to have their own TV shows. So yeah, DC is working their way up in the world, since they had such a rocky beginning with their movies getting some bad reviews, even though the portrayals and castings are good. But now I think they finally found their place in the sun, getting all the best movies out there, or have a formula that actually works in their favor. Although one thing I'm hoping for is that when DC creates their shows that are connected to their universe, is that they actually have some connectivity in the movies. Because I've mentioned in a previous podcast about how Marvel's shows like Daredevil, Iron Fist, The Defenders had no connectivity to their movies. Well, actually, the shows were connected to the movies, but the movies showed no connections to them. Hopefully, DC can rectify that mistake that Marvel done, because when I watch it, in one way it felt like it was almost like if it was like a different universe, because I get that they're trying to be like side stories, but hopefully DC won't do that. Hopefully the shows will have some kind of impact in the movies, whether it be like say in their timeline's history, or a foreshadowing of some other show or movie to come. Just, have some connection. For example, when the Peacemaker TV show finally airs, I hope that certain aspects of it, like say, whenever a show, like a hero that Peacemaker fights, or like certain victims of his, that they're referenced in the movies, or at least Easter egg, or maybe even shown, so that way there's connectivity between the two forms of entertainment. But regardless of connectivity or not, definitely looking forward to watching them, especially because I think I speak for everyone when I say that I have high hopes for these movies that they're based on, and the ones that don't have any movies that they're based on, aka Constantine and Zatanna. So I'm going to be watching those, and I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy them. And before I end the podcast, I just wanted to say that, just like I was saying with the Superman actors, one thing I hope to see is that in the upcoming future, in the future of the DC Extended Universe, even if we get all the Batman actors in the movies, I hope we get the TV shows also. Even though a majority of them were animated, we still can have one, like, say, from Gotham, the TV show Gotham. And I guess in order for this to work, they just have to keep the mask on and find someone who can do a really good imitation of Adam West, even have 60s Batman. You know, I think that would be fun to watch. Some of the more dangerous and more serious Batmans meeting the campier, more comedic version of Batman. And that's all for this podcast. Remember, you can check me out. Listen to my podcasts on Anchor, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, and Spotify. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel for more awesome podcasts. Thank you. Goodbye.